What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RaceDudes.com, and welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, let's go to Friday, May 3rd at Churchill Downs. Of course, it is race 11, and it is the Kentucky Oaks. Field of 16, 14 will run, 2 also eligible, so a large field once again. That's usually the case. Well, I'll just be honest before I start talking about it. This is one of the toughest races of the weekend for me. That's why this video is out a little bit later. I did a video and I wanted to change it. I didn't really like who I picked, and then it's been in a day or two, and I finally have just settled on somebody. Before we get to the top pick, though, let's go through them one by one. Let's go just to the rail out, and we'll start here with the number 1, Tapit Janelli. Listen, I've kind of liked this horse at Oaklawn, and both times ran okay, but, kind of outran her odds, but still wasn't really a threat to win. And I think that's kind of the thing when you look at this horse, maybe hit the board at a big price again here. I could see that, but as far as winning, I'm not quite sure on this one. So I think this is a horse that is just going to drop back, try to make one run, hopefully save ground. The pace is going to be hot enough. I wouldn't be shocked if you see this horse top of the stretch and think, oh, maybe there's a shot, but just couldn't get it done the last couple of times, the last 3 times, really. I don't think we'll get it done here. The number 2 is Jin Jin, and this is a horse that's coming out of the Gazelle. She was third, beaten 9.5. Not great. This horse does have a couple of wins, does have a stakes win, 3 races back at this distance, but moved up in class to the Gazelle. We kind of saw what she was. So, at the end of the day, this is a pretty tough race. She's going to have to improve to get it done. Now we get to talking about the Gazelle. Let's go to the number 3, Where's My Ring? This horse was a 4 1/4 length winner of the Gazelle. Ran very well in that race, but we hadn't seen much of, I'm not going to say much of anything, but we hadn't seen this horse hit the wire first until that race. 8 races, 1 win. The 1 win comes in the grade 3 Gazelle. So, but you look at the form on this horse, been pretty good. 2 races back, went out to Santa Anita, or was at Santa Anita, came to Aqueduct is what I should say, but was when the horse was at Santa Anita, got beat by Kinza, but finished second in the Santa Isabella. So, listen, this horse improving, going longer, 15-1. There's probably worse horses you can play. Let's stick with the Gazelle theme. The number 4, Regulatory Risk. This horse was second. As we talked, Jin Jin was third. Where's My Ring 1? Regulatory Risk was second. 4 1/4 behind, like we kind of documented. Was 19-1 in that race because really hadn't shown a whole lot until that effort. Pretty solid, earned her way here. Another big test, though. Another big jump up in class. So you look at the 2, 3, and the 4. They come out of the same race. I think all 3 of them, it's a different challenge here today, but they earn their way by running well in that race. The number 5, speaking of earning her way here, the number 5 is Torpedo Anna. This is a first legitimate contender, at least according to the morning line, which that's not always the case. But anyway, number 5, Torpedo Anna, 3 races as a 2-year-old, second in the Goldenrod after 2 really impressive races on this circuit. Long layoff, showed up in the fantasy, the last prep for the Oaks. Absolutely dominated the fantasy stakes from the 12 hole as well. Gets a better post here, faces a tougher field here for sure. I'm not sure what was in those Oaklawn races this year. But look, she's nice. She's very nice. There's no doubt. Second off the layoff, you could see improvement. Has, like I said, it's drawn a lot better here. Should get the kind of the solid stocking trip from this inside. I think she's a definite player, no doubt about it. Number 6 is Lemon Muffin. This horse, 1 win in 7 starts. Another horse that broke her maiden in a stake. She won the grade 3 Honeybee at 28-1 and won it impressively. Won it by 3.5. Kind of another reason why I said what I said the last when we were talking about Torpedo Anna, the last horse. What's in there if a maiden can win by 3.5? Fantasy next, got 7th, beaten 10. Just wasn't very good at all. She's better than the fantasy. I don't know if she's as good as the Honeybee, probably somewhere in between. It's a big-time long shot, but Lucas, he's won with long shots before. The number 7, Fiona's Magic. This horse 2 races back, won the Devona Dale grade 2 event down there at Gulfstream. It was a 1-turn mile. All of her races had been at 1 turn, and they were very good. Stretched out to a mile and 16th, Gulfstream Park Oaks. Really nowhere to be found in that race. Just nothing really went right. Kind of just started to back up pretty quick. So I don't think the stretch out's really going to do her a whole lot of favors. Probably not for me, but 1 turn, you might watch this horse. Keep an eye on this horse if and when they cut her back. All right, let's keep going. Number 8, Tarifa. This horse has won 3 in a row, is the morning line favorite, although a tepid morning line favorite of 7-2. Like I said, 3 wins in a row, all coming at the fairgrounds. Allowance, Rachel Alexander, Fairgrounds Oaks, kind of getting better every single time. Her last race was solid. I think a mile and an eighth will be fine. All systems seem to be go for Tarifa. She's definitely a big-time player in here. The number 9 is Everland. This horse will be trying dirt for the first time after all turf and then mostly one turf race, 6 synthetic races. Was very impressive in the Bourbonnette Oaks, no doubt about it. Like I said, it was over that synthetic track there at Turfway Park. Can she kind of bounce back? Can she, I shouldn't say bounce back. Can she bounce out of those turfway races onto the dirt and be successful? Really tough try. First time on dirt, right? This is a really tough ask, but, pedigree says she should be able to do it by Arrogate out of a Tappet mare. We'll see what happens with the number 9, Everland. Number 10, Into Champagne. This horse, another one. One-turn races look pretty good. 2 wins and a second in the Devona Dale behind Fiona's Magic. Another horse we said pretty good on one-turn races. Stretch out to 2 turns. Wasn't bad. Set the pace in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. Did fade pretty badly to 3rd, beating almost 7 lengths. Top 2 horses are pretty good. No doubt about it. We'll talk about them in just a second. But really wasn't competitive that day. Probably going to need a step up going 2 turns here. Another one, though, keep an eye on if and when they cut her back. All right, number 11, Ways and Means. If you remember her back in August at Saratoga, she ran away from a maiden special weight field. She had heavy hype that day and lived up to it. Went to the spin-away, pretty bad trip, did not get the any of the desired trip that she wanted. Got second, beaten a half length. Got injured, was gone for over 200 days. Came back to the Gulfstream Park Oaks off a long layoff, going a mile 16th, really tough ask. Ran okay. Again, didn't really get a good solid position early. Up the backside, made kind of a middle move to get her in her spot. Round in the corner, looked like she was going to win. Power Squeeze, the horse we'll talk about in just a second, came and got her. My biggest thing is I think she is going to improve second off the layoff, but is she really bred to go this far? I'm not sure. By practical joke, out of a Warrior's Reward mare, I don't think it screams a mile and an eighth, but I don't think it's impossible either. I just think, man, a lot to ask. Coming off an injury, running in the Gulfstream Park Oaks, now the Kentucky Oaks. Going to be tough. All right, number 12, Power Squeeze. This horse has won 4 races in a row, and I thought she was ultra impressive last time out in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. She had kind of been winning lesser stakes races at Gulfstream and at Tampa, stepped up in company, also, stretching out for the second time, and just went and got Ways and Means. Now, was it more about Ways and Means kind of slowing down, or did Power Squeeze just close up that nicely? I think it was a little bit of both, but listen, this horse has won 4 races in a row. You never love an outside draw, but going 2 turns, I should say, but I think she can work out a trip. She's really not one that wants to be forwardly placed, might just kind of drop towards the back. The 13, Just FYI, this horse, another one, and this is what makes this horse weird, second off the layoff. Off the layoff in the Ashland, she got second, beaten 3 lengths. It was her first loss of her career. I thought she was really professional in this race, though, and I really don't think she was kind of all out. I think that was a real nice prep race for this. I think the stretch out to the mile and an eighth is really going to help her in this spot. And look, the 13 hole is not great. She won from the 12 hole at the Breeders' Cup, so I think she can have enough speed to kind of be forwardly placed, try to save as much ground as she can. I think Bill Mott will have the screws tightened. I think she will be ready to run a big race. Can you overcome the 13? And hey, is she good enough? That's the other thing, because they all kind of look similar. Is she good enough? That's the big question. But number 13, Just FYI, should be pretty solid. And then finally, number 14, Leslie's Rose. That's the horse that beat Just FYI in the Ashland. And look, this horse has been 2 of her starts. She's almost like Fierceness in a way. Not the same running style for sure, but 2 of her starts have been really good. Her maiden was fantastic. The grade 1 Ashland win was fantastic. Both of those races are going to make her tough. However, the allowance race that she won at Gulfstream in her second start, I didn't think she ran all that well that day. And the Devona Dale, she was just awful. I don't know what happened to her. But listen, I thought she was very good in the Ashland. If she brings that again, she's going to be tough here. Draws all the way to the outside. That's kind of a worry. Todd Bletcher even kind of said that's a little bit of a worry. But yeah, Leslie's Rose, deserving horse to be taking money here. Would not be shocked at all if she gets it done. The 15 and 16, we'll talk about them before I give the top pick because, hey, these also eligibles can draw in, as we've seen. 15 is Our Pretty Woman. This horse is 2 for 3 lifetime. Won a maiden, won an allowance, and then was second, beaten only 3/4 of a length to Tarifa. And look, set a fairly easy pace that day, got ran down, but still, first start against Stakes Company, I thought she ran very well. And look, Tarifa 7-2, Our Pretty Woman, if she gets in, 15-1. I don't know. I think she's a playable horse. I think I would rather play her than some of the horses in the body of the field. So let's keep an eye out for Our Pretty Woman if she gets in. And then the 16 is Candied. This is a horse that was 2 for 2 before finishing third, only beaten 3/4 of a length, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Beaten 5 lengths last time out in the Ashland. Another horse making her first start off the layoff in a last prep race situation. If she gets in, she's interesting too. There's going to be a lot of pace and she can close. I've seen crazier horses win the Oaks, that's for sure. 20-1. I'm telling you, keep an eye on the scratches. If the 15 and 16 get in, they could play a factor in this thing for sure. All right, let's recap. Let's go to the picks, or to the top pick, I should say. I told you I've flip-flopped about 6 different horses. I ended up landing on the number 13, just FYI. I don't like the post all that well, but I do like that she's won from an outside post before. I think the second off the layoff and the stretch out in distance is really going to help. If she can just kind of get over before that first turn, get a little bit of positioning, stalk that pace, and then go get them, I think she's going to show up with a pretty good race. She definitely was a little flat in the Ashland, which is understood. I think if she makes that progression, though, she's going to be pretty tough in this spot. So I'm going to go number 13, just FYI. Like I said, Leslie's Rose makes sense. Power Squeeze, Ways and Means, Tarifa, can't play them all. You just got to make decisions. And at the end of the day, my win pick is going to be the number 13, just FYI. All right, guys. For all free picks for every track, every day, free win picks, go to racingdudes.com/free picks. You can get those every day, every track, including, obviously, Kentucky Oaks Day. And for exacta, trifecta, and top 4 for each race, go to the premium products page at racingdudes.com, and you can find all the products you might need for the big time weekend. All right, guys, thanks everybody for joining us. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're playing the Kentucky Oaks.